Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 265. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google Plus and the Dumb SEO Questions Facebook group. With us tonight we have David Rozam, a leading internet marketer. David is based in the southern side of England. Supposedly it's warmer there.
Oh yes, I'm wearing a t-shirt. It's December.
He's been a copywriter for 30 odd years and a SEO copywriter for about 10 of those. You can find David at writingforseo.org. Masataki Wasa is webmaster of wasaweb.net. He's also a Google top contributor on the AdSense community. You can find Masataki at wasaweb.net, wasaweb.net. And Tim Capper is CEO of onlineownership.com. He's also a Google top contributor. The Google My Business community. Also an alumni of the KGB in Red Square. Was that where it is? No, I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, we've got about 10 questions tonight. We didn't get them all today. We'll catch up with them next week. We apologise if we missed you this week. First one is from Jide Jeremiah Aid. It's titled, "We Aren't Getting Traffic Yet." Jide said, "Hi guys, I'm in need of advice on my website issue. It's 7 months old now. My plan is to build a site like CNET, Android Central, or How to Geek, etc. Just a tech site. But the stuff is not what I taught. I only have 3 guys working with me and we have to write articles every day. No chance for building backlinks. We are not getting traffic yet. Any suggestions on how we can replan our team and make things work out? Every answer to this is very valuable to me." I think Tim gave a good response on the Dumb SEO Questions Facebook group.
Yeah, I did. So if your resources are limited, you need to be a bit more strategic than say another news site out there or whatever the case will be. You need to be a bit strategic. So that strategy is going to be, 1, where's the traffic? And 2, once you know kind of where the traffic is, are there any gaps in that market that hasn't been covered in terms, that hasn't been covered? So you can either obviously look at this 2 ways. So for example, you can use your search console. I'm assuming you've got a fair bit of stuff on your site already. So search console and filter queries and use how, what, when, etc. And look for sort of longer versions of where you're appearing already. And can you exploit any areas where you are already appearing but not appearing as well as you could be? Can you either refine the content or produce content to answer those specific queries that people are searching for, but you're kind of nobody's really in the middle there? Or the other thing is to really key niche area firstly, break it down to what are people searching for and looking for opportunities where there is still a bit of traffic. However, it would be easier to get, for example, one of your your articles appearing very well within, let's say, 1 to 5 for, you know, for those particular topics, those longer form topics around it, answering all the questions around it, or all the subject matter around it, you know, really diving in. So there's two ways. You can either see where you've got, you know, where you've got a bit of traction already, and see whether you can improve it, either the content that's already there, or actually look for opportunities that have been missed with your competitors. Or you can pick a specific niche. You know, you've got sort of 3 writers, so pick a specific niche and then work out a content strategy around that, looking for experts within that specific, just one niche for a point of time, and you know, and take it from there. But you got to be, if your resources are limited, you need to be a lot more focused. And once you start building that up, in fact, I probably would never say stop doing it unless you triple the amount of guys in the business. But I would say, you know, that's always a key way to do it. You know, you're picking on a genre and a niche, and really dive in and break it down completely, making yourself an expert in the field of that. So anytime anybody's searching for anything around that particular subject, you're appearing either between 1 and 5, and you're building your brand. You know, you're producing great stuff, you're answering the queries, you know, you're on top of the subject, and they just know that these are the guys to go to for that kind of information now. So, you know, I would certainly look at those 2 kind of options.
Thank you, Tim. Okay. Yeah, well, I think that covers that very well. And as well as that, we have other comments from George G, who is providing some quality answers on our SEO Questions Facebook group. Okay, let's move on to the next. Quick question from JL Faverio. Can you add a vanity phone number to Google My Business? What he means by a vanity phone number is, say, 555 bugs or something like that.
So your vanity phone number, firstly, I don't think GMB would accept it. That's your first thing. I've never seen one. I've never seen it in guidelines, so I can't actually answer you. However, if it was allowed, you would just treat it the same as you would with a call tracking number.
Yeah, I think that I see where he's coming from, wanting to put that in, and maybe he could put that in the description, or another box which accepted text. Would that be a good idea? Maybe not. I'm not sure of anything anymore. All right. I hope that's an answer for you, JL. And let's go to the next. This one is interesting, from Jacob Punton, a link building campaign for a local venue hire website. He said, what do you guys suggest for a link building campaign for a local venue hire website? Any ideas on the type of blogs or influencers to reach out to?
Okay, so the first thing you've got to do is just get this like link building thing out your brain. Okay. So you know, and if you're a super local business, and of course, you know, you've got other, so you're local, but the most primary thing for your business is people want to you know, they want to see what is possible within the venue. People do kind of lack imagination. So yours needs to be very visual and very informative. So from now on, literally every single event that gets held there, you need to have a couple of pictures. That's an article in itself. So let's call it, I don't know, a medieval theme, for example, this weekend. It's, you know, a couple of pictures. This was done. People can get a feel for it. Next week's going to be some Halloween thing, and the following week's going to be a country style or whatever. So it's going to be the kind of the theme of the event. How many people were there? What table structure did they use? Were they round tables? Were they using a banqueting style format? Were they using herringbone? You know, people need to know what to fit in comfortably and with a squeeze. You know, because they ultimately, at the end of the day, they need to know all this information. They don't want to drag their asses out there and think, oh, you know what? Your website said get 200 in here, but actually, on 10-foot round banqueting tables with 11, you know, with 10 on each, I can only get 150 in here. So no, you're the wrong place for me. You know, provide the information about that. So everything. So it's going to be, you know, who was catering that event, what did they serve, who were the caterers. You can then, that would be on a weekly, because I'm assuming, let's say you have one booked every weekend, that would be on a weekly basis. You know, some really good, you know, images, etc. What's going on. Then you need to start building up lists. So you know, real guides, but obviously local. So it's going to be you're the venue. So let's look at what comes into your. So we've got your furniture. So furniture hire, you know, event furniture hire companies in XYZ location. So you're in whatever county or town, and then you can do a full-on guide on all the event furniture hire companies within that state, county, or, you know, I don't know what country you're in. And then you can literally break it down, whether there's 20, 30, 50, make, you know, a thing. And this is where you've created some really good info you've compiled all the info for a potential customer. Okay. Even expand, you can break it down. Somebody's getting negative feedback, negative reviews, whatever, you can just remove them out your list. Or a new company comes on the market, you can add to it. But the point here is now you've created something, one, for your customer that they really need. Where do I get my furniture? Who do you recommend? Well, here's an entire list. Go for it. Okay. Or you can even actually have a preferred supplier section to it if you want to. But you've satisfied that intent for your customer. Then when you publish it, you literally drop a line to all of the companies on there that you've listed. Hey guys, you know, this is, you know, Jacob from whatever your venue is called. We've recently compiled a list of all the companies in the area, blah, blah, blah. And hey, you're on the list, and, you know, take a look, see what you think. And 9 times out of 10, they're actually going to chuck it on their social. They mention it elsewhere, but all of a sudden, hey, you're getting that pushed further and further and further afield now. And that applies to cutlery and crockery. Caterers, you know, who does catering? You can break those down, because there's some bigger ones. So you could probably break it down into either, you know, you could do 2 or 3 different ones there, based on price, based on cuisine. Some people just specialize in, let's say, like hog roasts, but other people specialize in sort of more, you know, buffets, like, let's say, wedding buffets or evening buffets. And some people actually specialize, they will actually do table service, you know, 3-course table service. So you could, you know, look on that one, you can break that down into just one big one, or split it down into 3, you know, for your area in the state or county where, you know, what you're in. Boom. So that's another 3. Same again. Those get sent out, right? 9 times out of 10, obviously include your social. They're going to post onto their social, but same again, they will probably start following you, and you following them back on all the different social channels anyway. And therefore, you start to build these things up. and that, so it doesn't stop there. You can even go further into planning guides. So you can go into planning guides. So I'm planning a wedding, and I want a full-on list on how to plan my wedding. And that could go into the full-on breakdown in words, and you could even go so far as create a PDF printable little checklist for the bride. Tick, 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 so she can tick things off. You know what I mean? Really think, this is what people need when they're coming to you. So you need to be able to provide, if you can provide everything people want from your venue or need around actually booking, you are one tiny little piece of the puzzle. If you can bring in all the other pieces, they don't need to they don't need to go anywhere else. You've satisfied pretty much every single expectation. Your job is done, and and that's it. And don't think about link building. Put that off the side of your head. I was going to say another really good one where you can look at is weddings. Now, weddings is a big, and I have no idea what kind of venue you are, so I don't know whether you're in a field, whether you're in the middle of a city centre. So, but weddings is another big one, and an entire section dedicated just to itself. The corporate events and exhibitions I could bundle into one kind of thing, and weddings into another one. And you can really go to town on that. In terms of, because you're local, you really want to get your local citations sorted. You want to get your GMB sorted. Get images, really nice images. Every time something goes on your blog, get that image onto your GMB page. More people search, even now today, there are more image searches conducted today than anything, even in Facebook searches. So, images is like, it's massive. And you are, although you don't realize it, you are massive. Everything to do with you is image, is going to be pictures. They want to see a setting. They want to see it set out for a wedding ceremony, and then turned around in an hour, and what it's going to look like for the actual table service. Bear in mind, that's actually got nothing to do with you, because you're just the hire. It's actually the caterers that are going to turn that all around. But the point is, people aren't going to book you if they don't believe it's possible. Okay, so that's the other thing. So images, so citations, certainly do that. Now, I don't know what country you're in, but in the UK here, for example, there are two really good high-profile wedding, everything wedding related as such, countrywide sort of blogs, supplier lists, and also you can, if you were a venue, you can actually in a directory start. Those two, that they are paid for, but the traffic you're going to get from them is phenomenal, of course, if somebody's looking at you. So in some instances, if there's some really high profile things, you can actually go out and look at some of these really high profile directories. I would also bear in mind, keep in mind sort of local stuff, local news. Excuse me. Quite often, charities, and I'm assuming you've got, let's say, a handful of charities wherever you are. Charities are a really good way of building a link. The venue on a Wednesday night is not going to cost you anything. It would have been empty anyway. Offer it to, a charity, whatever, because they want to have a barn dance. Obviously, the caterers are going to be doing their thing for, X amount or for free or whatever, on the proviso that, you're added back on their sites, as a sponsor of the charity. It's hyper local, and it's a link for you. But in terms of link building and influencers, you are going to have far better results by literally answering every kind of possible question, guides, etc., in content, and that is going to be the way you're going to win the day.
Yeah, he's in Manchester, I think. Brilliant answer too, by the way.
So your stuff's going to be Manchester then. It's going to all be Manchester focused. It's going to be, it's going to be suppliers in Manchester. It's going to, the whole thing, break it down completely. And it's all going to obviously, so it's going to be Manchester furniture suppliers, and it's going to be Manchester cutlery and crockery, caterers, catering suppliers. You can, really go to town and really break it down full on. And then of course, what I said to you also is that can be also broken down into autumn, winter, spring, and summer, because everything changes in your wedding industry and event industry. There's all sorts of different possibilities from autumn, summer, spring, including, from food being served or offered to, to beverages, to table decorations. Literally, you can be going for the next 2 years on a content plan for these guys. And I would say if you really start chucking in well, you'll be seeing results within 3 months, easy.
Excellent. I hope Jake Punton does come from Manchester. Otherwise, he'll be after me. And Jake, if you're watching this, I had a look at your contact page, and it's just a web form. Surely you don't advise your clients that a web form's good enough on the contact page. All the NAP details, mate. All right, let's move on to the next, unless somebody else wanted to add something. Okay. Sharat Nair. This one, I should have combined it, I guess, Tim. But anyway, Sharat said, hey guys, this is my first question in this group. Welcome. A business-to-business software as a service company. I do not understand how to build the links to this website. So far, I have done Web2 social media directory sites and only the top business directories. I created different profiles on the site, and I'm active in the top business-to-business forum now. What is next for me in terms of link building? Please help me. Thank you in advance.
I just wish people would get this link building thing out their head. Right. So, good for you. You're very active in this particular forum. Great. That's a really good way. But now take that into, obviously if that's applicable into the company or the site you're working with. You could. So first things first. It's all about satisfying a consumer's intent, and by satisfying that, if it's an informational piece of content, they're either going to share it, or two, you've satisfied every particular question that they possibly have. The only other question they actually literally have left in their mind now is, where's the contact us button, or where do we pay? So, I don't know what site it is. The situation is, depending on what the person's coming to the site for in this instance, it's either a purely tech, you're satisfying it for them as a reader, to show your, to show off that you're, authorities in that field, and it's just some update in some kind of whatever, and people are going, wow, great, thanks guys. And ultimately, you become the go-to guy for any kind of information around that. The other bit is if you're providing that information around these kind of things, and it's a particular installation of something or whatever the case may be, of some, I don't know, software or whatever, and you've literally satisfied, you know, you've created a bit of content there, and you've literally satisfied every piece of the puzzle that this potential customer has. It's, you know, how it's installed, all the technical stuff, days, blah, 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 whatever, system requirements, you know, everything, but from start to finish. They're literally at the end of it, they've gone, wow, okay, cool. I know exactly from point A to point B. I know exactly how this would work if you were my supplier. And literally now they're going to contact you for a quote. They don't still need to ask you another 250 questions before they sign off it. What they want to know is it possible in my infrastructure, and what's the quote on it? So this is the point here. You know, I would really look at, you know, you're already in the forums, great stuff. You're building a name for yourself personally, but now I would start creating a name for that business, that site, that brand, that people are going to go to, because you guys can literally answer any freaking question I've got. You know, you guys are, you know, you guys are the bomb. So my first thing here would be Search Console and find all the sort of missing gaps where your site, you know, missed opportunities, where you can either refine or do better. And then, of course, you have the opportunity within these other forums that you're already involved in. And are there any other high-tech ones? By producing that, you know, are there any opportunities also, if you start producing this content, you're in the forums, are there any other resources out there, news sources? Because the point is, I mean, when I started getting involved in forums and things like that years and years ago, you get contacted by people. Hey, I saw what you said there, blah, 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 blah. Would you be interested in, you know, collaborating on an article or a guide or a this or a that? So these things will come as you build that name, the reputation for the brand, as well as yourself as a you know, specialist within the field. You know, so those, I would concentrate on putting it on your site. You put it on your site in the best possible format that satisfies the question and the user's intent that's coming to your site. And that's where, you know, people are either going to share it, they're going to discuss it, or they'll pick up the phone and say, give me a quote.
Cool, Tim. Thank you very much. All right, anybody else on this one? Okay, let's move on. Here we have one from Ryan Logan. He said, hello, looking for some advice on the following scenario. The title of the question, switching domain and redirection. www.companyaa.com is now going to be www.companyb.com. Company A has no SEO value. Company B has SEO value and is currently being SEO'd. I want to do away with the website for Company A, but have visitors know to go to the Company B website until I can fully phase out the Company A domain. I can do this with a domain redirection, but I want to be careful not to damage any SEO on the Company B side. He said, am I thinking too much about this? And should I just proceed with the redirection? If I have to, I can just alert all current clients about the switch. But I was hoping to do a slower transition. Again, SEO on the Company B side is paramount. Thanks.
It seems to me, maybe I'm seeing this a little bit too simply, but it seems that I'd be inclined to redirect from the Company A site with no SEO value to Company B site. It shouldn't harm the the performance of company B unless unless there's a load of dodgy links been built, or there is something particularly bad about company A. And if company A has just not done anything to its site and it's not doing much SEO wise, then just put some news, put the news on company A and redirect away. And yes, I think that's about it.
Totally, David.
Yeah.
I think it's critical that he makes sure that there's no penalties applied, or algorithmic or manual to company A before he starts redirecting it, because he'll redirect all that pain onto company B if that's the case. But if it's squeaky clean, and if the domain name is close to, if company A and company B are similar, or where there's a possibility of confusion, that he really should hold on to that domain name, not because it's any use to him, but so nobody else can buy it and use the domain name to damage his business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I'm wondering if there are any visitors from company A. Do you have visitors going to the company A website now? And if it's going to be the same company under different name, under different branding, providing the same content, then you don't want to lose those visitors, right? So redirect makes sense, provided that there isn't anything toxic about that domain, the first domain, then it seems to make sense from a visitor's point of view to be redirected to the new page. That's the equivalent of the page that used to exist or that exists on company A website. So if you take out the potential toxicity of that site, think about the visitor. I think I would go down that route.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next. I see Jeremy L. North and Alan Blue Eyes, as always, contributing on our Dumb SEO Questions Facebook group. All right, so we thank them very much. Tim will love this one because it's it's titled "The Next Step After Link Building." Danny Decker asks or says, "Hi." He said, "So I've been working hard on making backlinks. See the number of domains linking back to me below. 1 Facebook, 5 Web2, 5 social bookmarking, 5 random profiles, 5 random edu and .gov sites, 6 topic-related websites, brackets programming, 18 links from related forum signatures or link posts, not worth a crumpet, 9 question and answer websites with 26 answers, a few more random stuff, 1 customer backlink, 1 pingback link, 50 or 60 domains week mostly. Now, Ahrefs is only showing me 15 domain backlinks. I'm assuming Google doesn't count all of them either. What's my next stage regarding backlinks? I've been trying guest posts, but it's been a struggle to get any guest posts out there, and guest post providers seem to be scammy. You're getting smarter all the time, Danny. Their own fake websites, or expensive, 100 euros per guest post. And private blog network providers suggested to me that my website isn't ready for PBNs yet. What's the next stage? Should I somehow get Google to notice all these weak backlinks, or get a strong backlink? Any suggestions are welcome.
Well, Danny, I'm going to completely blow your fucking mind right now, mate. I'm going to blow it out the water. So let's say you actually create something amazing, a beautiful piece of content, right? That the Times, Forbes, or whatever genre you're in, like the next biggest leader online that actually deals in your genre, actually picks up on this and actually publishes something. And let's say, well, I'm going to blow your mind even more. Let's say it's a no-follow link, right? Okay, so you're probably thinking, oh, God, what's the point of that, right? But let's say 20,000 people read that, and out of those 20,000, 2,000 actually click through to your site and place an order. Now, that just completely blows your entire I need links freaking thing, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. So the point here, mate, is you need to forget all this crap that you're going down, right? And if you're serious about creating a brand or a business for yourself, you need to start satisfying the consumer and the consumer's intent on your site. So people come to you, right? They come to you to answer the questions about a product or a brand or a business, and then they buy from you, whatever the intent of the site is. I mean, you're killing me with all this stuff. I don't even know where, I mean, like the 80s just called and they want their link building theories back.
Well, you know, it's hard because there is just so much information out there. Some of it's spurious.
Yeah,
and
I know.
It's hard to know who's right and who's wrong. We know that we're right.
I know. And the problem is every year there's a report out from all of them, Moz and everyone, and in it basically boils down to, and they also say links. What they fail to really, expand on is how to get you don't, the point here is if you answer every potential question around, and I don't know what your site's about, but if you answer every potential question, about your product or the service that you have, whether it be on your site or whether it be, as an authoritative speaker elsewhere, but people know and associate you with your site and your brand, then, you want them on your site. You don't want them going else, It's like, for example, you build, you go and build some crappy little link on some other site or some other blog post or whatever the case may be. Is anyone ever going to frickin' read that anyway? Are they ever going to come to you? Your main thing should not be links. It should be, how do I get a visitor to come to my site? Because he's not going to go to that shit site to read some really randomly put together article, to click on the footer link or the signature link to come through to your site to potentially buy from you, is he? You need to provide it on your site so that they find you in the search results for every particular or query that they potentially have about a product or service, and they find you and they come through to your site and you answer that for them. And they either use the service or buy the product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like all of the social media influencers that are being paid these days to pump up Bitcoin. The people that are promoting links, they're probably selling them, and the people that anyway. Look, I'll bring this up next week, Tim. I'll make sure we've got a link building question. And if nobody comes along and puts it, I'll make one up for you.
I was going to suggest that the next step after link building, according to Tim, is to disavow all of them.
Oh no, don't mention the disavow.
Literally, I mean, seriously, if Danny said to me, hey, listen, mate, sort my site out, and I looked at his profile, his link profile, I probably would. I'd probably be disavowing freaking everything he's just spent the last 6 months trying to create, because I just would not want that shit associated with that brand.
Yeah. I see Casey Marquis said on the Dumb SEO Questions Facebook group, he said exactly what you're saying. He said, you're out there physically trying to generate links into your site, and worse, many of the avenues you listed above are low quality or no follow by nature. Have you looked at actually investing in quality content so you can pull links into your site naturally? You hear the tripe all the time about all you need is good contact, and yes, that is hyperbole in many aspects, but it also has a clear value. Do you have the ability to generate infographic, green or long form types of content on your site that would encourage the kind of natural high quality linking you are missing above? Anyway, have we done this to death for Danny?
Yeah, sorry, Danny. I had a pop at you, mate, but the shit's doing my head in now. You need to look elsewhere for your informational sources of, you know, and stay off the forums.
Pay him no attention, Danny. He's older than me. All right, let me see. Ryan Jackson asked the question, SEO for a distribution and logistics company. Ryan said, hi all, I'm working with a distribution and logistics company and wanted to see if anyone had link building tips or thoughts on increasing SEO. Can anyone share insights?
If I could do a raging South African via Moscow accent, I could take this over now, but I think I better let Tim do it.
Right. Luckily for you, I have some insights. Okay, so I spent a year recently with a very large distribution and logistics supplier in the UK. In fact, they've expanded now to 3 more countries in Europe. So obviously what we did worked pretty well, and it did not involve going out there building links. What it involved was satisfying every single frickin' potential question that every single customer had. Now, I would split yours into a couple of different areas, right? So you have a location, so that is obviously your local. So you should certainly have a GMB listing for that, depending on how many distribution hubs you have. So each one can potentially have a GMB, and each one can potentially, you know, have citations built around those. Naturally, each one should have their own individual page within site, because that's going to work within your local, you know, searches. Because of course, a lot of searches are localized. Someone in London is going to search, I'm looking for a new logistics company, are only going to be shown London-based ones firstly, and then they have to actually start looking at, obviously physically type in locations for different search queries. That's just the way it works now. So I would look at the local aspect firstly, see what potentials you have of integrating local SEO into the site. The next one, and the biggest thing I found when I was doing this, when I was working with them, is literally these guys just don't answer the freaking questions. The way it works, and I mean, I don't know how your company works or how this company works, but literally the way it works is they have basic content on the site. They say, yeah, we can do this, we can do that, we can have, integrated software, tracking software for parcels deliveries. but they don't go into the nuts and bolts of it. They don't tell you about the system requirements. They don't, you know, they literally, it's the bare bones. And ultimately, most of it is to salesmen out there who's literally going out day in, day out, boots on the ground, salesmen, or relying on someone to phone, and then they get into the whole sales patter, and, you know, then they'll go and do a site visit and blah, 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 and what you need and all that kind of crap. None of them actually provide the information that's required to the actual user purchasing decision, or when it, in the purchasing decision, is to actually phone you and guide, say, yeah, I'm interested in this, or I've got this kind of product, or I'm, you know, want to branch out into this area, can you distribute, blah, blah, blah. So the biggest thing there was actually providing all the information required. Provide it on site and put it on site so that your customer or the future potential customer can find the information he needs in order to make a decision of whether I'm going to phone you guys for a quote of integration. The plus is also, if you've answered the question too fully, you're not going to get that other one, which is going to take up a sales guy's half a day to get out to wherever he's going, to then realize, guys, no, we can't do this because integrating the system in the software, it's just, you know, it's going to, whatever. But the point is you know, you're going to whittle it down. You're going to provide information to people that are searching for it online. If they search for it, you appear and they're going to come through to you. I know it's a very, very dry, it's a very dry subject. And occasionally you can liven it up. We also had dash cams in all of the, we had dash cams, and we've actually got a very successful YouTube channel now, or they have, not me, but they've got a very successful called, you know, I'm not going to say the name because that's, but it's essentially dash cams out there for anything to do with road rage, to do with bad driving. They get more hits every year just for people watching it on YouTube than they actually do there. So the point is look, it's a dry subject, distribution warehouses, hubs, but you need to provide that information to them. In fact, we also did very, very cool on-site video work, because people can't always understand it. If it's a new web business that wants to use a distribution hub or a distribution network, delivery network, they sometimes don't understand it. They're new to the game. And if those are sort of your target markets, it's also quite handy, apart from providing really good content, actually getting a videographer in for a day, and they can literally see this is going to happen. This is where, you know, this would be your caged off area where your stock is sitting. Once an order comes through on your site, it goes through to the main system here. This is, you know, that's where it's packed, delivered, pushed, boom, gone, boom. And you can do a little thing on checking the, you know, the thing going, so that they can understand the whole distribution system. But I don't know what scale of the market or end you're looking at. So there are ways of taking a pretty dry thing and making it a little bit more palatable. But yeah, I know it's difficult, but you need to kind of think about it and see how you can get a bit creative and get a bit more, you know, get a bit more brand visibility out there.
Fantastic. I think Ryan will be very, very, very pleased to hear all of that. Anybody else? I see Micah Fisher-Kirshner has just joined us. Micah is head of SEO for Zendesk.com in the United States. He's also a regular on the SEO public speaking circuit. Let's move on from Ryan's question. We'll go to the next. This could be me. It's titled, I Get Zero Traffic. That could be me. Giannis Hardage said, I had a group of around 22,000 members. I linked the group with a page I own and I post articles in that group as the page that I have. I get 0 traffic. Any ideas why?
Yeah, part of that depends on who your followers are or how you got them. This may stem from not having real traffic. That's if it, you're uncertain about where you get them. When it comes to kind of the Facebook side, you also have to realize they've cut down on a lot of the organic impressions. So you should take a look and see if you're even getting to many people within your Facebook posts. They have the analytics side, so you should be able to see. So the question, of course, will be if you're not getting many people viewing it and not many people that are clicking on it to get traffic to your site from Facebook, that might be the reason. There's always the basic mistake of, did you track everything properly? So it might be that you're sending people to your blog that's not having any, let's say Google Analytics tracking. So you may be getting traffic, but it's not showing up because you didn't properly track it. I'm assuming a variety of potential issues. Now, it might be none of them, but the point being is just kind of, what are the things you've ruled out to try to figure out what's going on? Did this traffic suddenly disappear? If it suddenly disappeared, that's a larger issue. And also might go back to Facebook making changes to their algorithm again to reduce the amount of traffic. Is it just not coming in through Facebook? I mean, if you've got 22,000 followers, and assuming that these 22,000 are, really, let's say, engaged, then the question is, are these at all coming? Do you have any other ones on that come onto, say, your Twitter profile, or any other kind of social media network? And is it really only Facebook that's having that issue, or is it something else? So dive into the data, see kind of what you have. Are you getting impressions? Are you properly tracking on your website? Those types of things to make sure that everything is really set up and it's working. And do that at the start before running any kind of paid test, just to make sure. Otherwise, if you really want to check and see, Job and John's one is a good one, but you want to just make sure first that you've got everything properly set up and that you are providing impression in the first place.
Thank you, Micah. Yeah, Job and John's is a good one. Run a test. Submit a post with a title, free laptop and $100 per hour. You know what? That wouldn't get me. What would I want a free laptop for? All right. Let's go to the next. Oh, no, there is no next. We've done it again. We've answered all of the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+, and also the Dumb SEO Questions Facebook group. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again. But until then, thank you very much for your participation. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile, and for that, we are grateful. Until next week, have a good week.